a little bit of context and go over a couple of takeaways and ground rules for our conversation. We'll then hear more from our speakers from Upia and Gaza, Pego Ops from Solaris Off-Grid and TaroWorks, and we'll round the session off with a Q&A. Now, we only have an hour and we can't cover everything in great depth, but we really hope that today provides a starting point to catalyse useful conversations and that ultimately you feel empowered to continue these beyond the call. If you have questions, please send these through as we go via the chat box, which you'll see in the bar at the bottom of your screen. It's really fantastic to see that we have lots of people on this call today. And our primary audience is, of course, GDC members, as we want to give them the opportunity to hear from our speakers and to ask their burning questions. But we've had a lot of interest from other speakers, from other parties, including donors, investors and NGOs, which we really welcome. In the Q&A, we will give priority to GDC members, but we will call on others if we have time. Next slide, please. So now that the housekeeping is taken care of, why are we all here today? Well, one of the challenges that GDC members often highlight is accessing neutral information about services and products that meet their needs. In recent years, many software solutions have emerged that can help last mile distributors to operate more efficiently and effectively, but distributors are not always aware of what these solutions are, what benefits they offer, and the differences between them. And particularly since the COVID-19 crisis has hit, GDC members have told us that digitizing operations and managing sales remotely have become even more important for them. So today's call is largely a response to what our members are telling us. So using digital platforms can help distributors to save time, to save money, become more efficient in their day-to-day operations, and fundamentally to make better data-driven decisions to enhance their business performance. So as you'll see on the screen, among other things, digital platforms can help distributors to collect data on customers' sales and repayments, to manage after-sales support, to manage inventory, to communicate with customers, to track and manage sales agent performance and help with accounting and bookkeeping, and of course, to collect and process consumer payments. So the GDC's recent State of the Sector report suggests that 69% of our distributors offer consumer financing, which is really difficult to manage without software. And you'll hear much more about some of these core functions from our speakers shortly, whose offerings, while in many ways, really well established, are particularly relevant at a time like now when distributors are not necessarily able to engage face-to-face with the communities and customers that they serve. Next slide, please. Okay, so that's the background against which today's conversation takes place. And we're just so delighted to be joined today by such a stellar panel of speakers. So in preparation for today, we've asked each of the speakers to consider a few core questions. And these include, what does their typical or ideal client look like? What makes their offering unique? And what are some of the biggest challenges that they help distributors to overcome, including in the context of adapting to COVID-19? And ultimately, by the end of the session, we hope that you, the audience, will, first of all, have learned more about some of the leading software solutions on the market that are available to distributors and how they differ, and also to understand how you might be able to use digital platforms such as these to tackle both short and longer term challenges that you might be facing. And last but by no means least, it's a really important chance today for our speakers to hear from you, our members, about your priorities and needs. So please do share your comments and questions via the chat box. Okay, so we know what today's webinar is all about, but what is it not? Well, the purpose today is not for software providers to pitch or sell their services. So upfront, I want to flag that we've agreed with the speakers that talking about pricing is off limits today. But as I said before, we really intend for this to be a conversation opener, and we encourage you to get in touch with any or all of the service providers on today's call afterwards to explore their offerings in more detail. And we'll be sharing contact details for each of the organisations afterwards for you to do that. Next slide, please. So I should also acknowledge that the world of software solutions is big, and there are many other platforms and solutions out there that we know can benefit distributors. So today's call is certainly not an exhaustive list, and we are not necessarily endorsing the service providers we will hear from today over others. However, we do really applaud and thank them for their willingness to step into this conversation and really openly share more information about their services, as well as their desire to listen to and learn from all of you. Something that our speakers today have in common is that their solutions were specifically developed for last mile distributors to help them manage their sales. And that's one of the main reasons we invited them here to speak today. Having said that, if you are interested in hearing from other software providers who might be able to offer solutions that can help your business in different ways, for example, around kind of designing and implementing survey tools, like location tracking, that kind of thing, then we're always happy to help facilitate this. So just get in touch with us. Okay, well, I think that's probably enough for me at this point. So I'd like to welcome our first speaker, Gerard Kelly, who is CEO and co-founder of Upia.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And also thank you for facilitating the webinar today. At Upia, we're already working closely with a number of GDC members, and I look forward to engaging with more of you following the call today. So my name is Gerard Kelly, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Upia. We are a London-based tech company offering innovative CRM software to last mile distributors. We've been operating since 2017, and over the past 2 years of growth, we've built a strong team with backgrounds across energy, tech, finance, and consulting, with the common goal of creating innovative solutions for last mile challenges. Next slide, please. To give you a little more background, one of the reasons we got into this space is that we could identify with many of the problems faced by LMBs, namely the need for a flexible alternative CRM solution that enables LMBs to focus on what they know best, which is serving their customers. With that front of mind, we've built the CRM in close partnership with LMBs for LMBs and have quickly built our presence across Sub-Saharan Africa. Next, I'd like to tell you a little more about the key features of the product, and I would echo the comments of Charlotte previously. I would encourage all GDC members to get in touch directly, and I will make time to discuss further with you. Next slide, please. So our solution comes in two parts, a web platform and a mobile app. On the left is the flexible Upia web platform. This is designed to provide head office with the means and data-driven insights to manage sales, distribution channels, payments, and performance, together with communication tools to interact with both clients and on-the-ground agents. On the right is the easy-to-use Upia mobile app, used by your agents to manage sales, repayments, and client relationships both on and offline. Next slide, please. So you may be saying to yourself, well, that's all well and good, but do we have the integrations in place with suppliers and mobile money services to meet your needs? And the short answer is yes. Upia offers broad interoperability and is integrated with key hardware manufacturers and mobile money services in over 10 countries, and we are expanding rapidly. In terms of our typical clients, we focus on working with small to medium-sized distributors to help them increase sales, lower operating costs, and develop sustainable and impactful last mile distribution businesses. Looking at the simple LMD ecosystem depicted here, there are many stakeholders in place, and Upia helps LMDs find the right balance across each channel. Consider first payments and suppliers on the left here. The Upia platform is flexible and scalable across different business models. So whether that be pay-as-you-go mobile money or manual cash collection in terms of payments, or everything from solar home systems to cook stoves to solar pumps and so on in terms of suppliers. But most importantly, the platform has been designed to be customer-centric at its core, to help you build strong, lasting relationships with your end users. Next slide, please. So it's not just us telling you about the Upia CRM software, and here are a few testimonials, highlighting our work across Uganda, Kenya, and Malawi, to name a few. And I'll leave this here for a couple of seconds just to let you absorb it. So next slide, please. By the way, the reason people like our software is that it goes beyond the standard solution. And I'll highlight just 4 of these key features here. Number 1, it provides robust payment reconciliation to easily track agent sales and how much they owe you. This includes daily cash sale limits to reduce your risk and offline bookkeeping to help expand agent ways of working. Number 2, in terms of agent management, You can employ manager or maybe super agents to improve your operational structure. And this also provides opportunities for agent growth within your business. You can also manage agent commission target setting and link this to your payroll function. And this feature actually was designed specifically for a Kenyan L&D to reduce their admin costs. Number 3, we have designed an ultra-efficient mobile app to minimize mobile data usage for agents, thus reduce costs, optimize performance, and help keep your agents engaged. And number 4, as stakeholder management is vital for L&Ds, you can generate reports at the click of a button, employing Gogla-aligned KPIs, and even share live views of impact metrics with key stakeholders as you wish. Next slide, please. So it's easy for me to talk about features generally. We also offer analytical tools to provide you with unique insights. And here is an example. So Upia offers advanced payment analytics, not only on successful payments, but also on failed ones. And analyzing these failed payments can bring about dramatic insights that we found many of our L&D clients were not necessarily aware of. Indeed, it turns out that on average, between 5 to 20% of daily mobile money payments fail. That means that for every 4 end users that make a mobile money top-up payment, there's often a 5th end user that tries but fails, meaning that they want to pay, but they can't. And it's nearly always caused by end user error in terms of incorrect payment reference, incomplete details, etc. Now, this of course increases agent workload dealing with related complaints. But in addition, from analyzing the payment patterns at play here, we've seen that it's also a key factor in driving up default rate. Essentially, end users want to make payments, but they try and fail, sometimes many times over, before finally giving up. Next slide, please. So to address this problem, we built a robust payment tracking function to pick up failed payments and to directly reach out through SMS or agent contact to struggling clients. So employing a clear process of measure, understand, and then address the problem, we estimate that better managing your failed payments can bring about significant gains, including unlocking daily revenues of between 5 to 10%, reducing your default rate, where we found that up to 30% of defaulting end users had a history of failed payments, where they tried and failed to make payments multiple times. And of course, improved customer service and brand awareness within the communities that you serve. Now, this has been transformative for our clients during the COVID pandemic to allow them to optimize their end user portfolio, maximize revenues, and minimize costs. Next slide, please. So I'll finish by just thanking the GDC again for this opportunity. And again, I'd like to invite GDC members to get in touch to discuss further. It would be great to talk through your business plans and discuss how the flexible Upia platform can support you to build sustainable and impactful businesses. Thank you for your attention, and I'll hand back to you, Charlotte.
Thank you so much, Gerard, for kicking us off. Just a reminder to please drop your questions and comments into the chat as we go. And on that note, we'll move swiftly on. So we'll now hear from Leslie Marancola, who is the founder and CEO of Angaza.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name is Leslie Marancola, CEO and founder of Angaza. We're a San Francisco and Nairobi-based software company with a mission to equip last-mile distributors with the technology they need to offer life-changing products to consumers anywhere in the world. Next slide, please. So Angaza supports over 200 last-mile distributors spanning over 50 countries. We have a large concentration of customers in East and West Africa, and we're now seeing a growing number of distributors from the Asia Pacific and Latin America regions as well. To date, our customers have used the Angaza software platform to sell and manage over 2 million devices, registering over 150 million in consumer payments on the platform. It's been really quite amazing to see the growth of the last mile distribution industry, especially over the last couple of years, thanks to the hard work of many GDC members on this call today. Our customers, these last mile distributors, range in their stage of growth from small businesses just starting out, all the way up to enterprise level businesses that have operations across multiple countries. And we also serve many types of business models. Distributors use Angaza to sell a range of product types, from solar home systems to cook stoves to smartphones to home appliances. Many also offer consumer financing, or more popularly known as pay-as-you-go, for these products. Many of our customers specialize specifically in last mile distribution of durable goods, while others, like microfinance institutions and telecoms, use Angaza to add durable goods distribution to another existing business vertical. So let me tell you first a bit more about how different size distributors leverage Angaza in different ways as they grow. Next slide, please. So first I'll focus on small businesses, as many of our customers start with Angaza when they're just starting out and still young. For example, the woman pictured here, Rose, is a retail shop owner. She's part of a network of small retail shops that are managed by a local distribution business. Before this distributor started working with Angaza, Rose used pen and paper to document her sales and track her payment collections. These manual processes led to errors, they were costly to maintain, and they really directly limited the growth of this distributor. Once this distributor started to use Angaza software, they were able to quickly move off of pen and paper towards digitized consumer records and automated mobile payments. They were also able to track inventory throughout their retail network to better support sales agents like Rose. So overall, this distributor increased their sales and their consumer satisfaction by automating and digitizing their operations on Angaza. Next slide. We also work with medium to large distribution businesses. These are companies with established operations spanning multiple regions or multiple countries, with large sales agent networks and large call centers. Mid to large size distributors typically sell a wide product mix, from solar home systems to appliances, smartphones, and water pumps, for examples. Businesses of this size choose Angaza in order to maximize the lifetime value of their clients. And they're focused on not only the first sale of a device to a client, but actually selling multiple products to the same client over time. Their management teams need enhanced data insights about inventory tracking and sales agent performance, to name a few. They need mobile payment integrations with a variety of banks and telecoms. And they need robust APIs to integrate the Angaza platform with other types of software that they use. Next slide. So in summary, Angaza's platform is helping both small and large businesses in the following ways. Number one, for sure, we help them digitize their businesses, all through a centralized software system. And this helps them track and sell to consumers. Number two, we help them manage their sales networks to optimize sales rates and track inventory allocations. Number three, we help them offer consumer financing and collect mobile payments automatically. And number four, we help them gain real-time data and insight into their operations. So I want to take a few minutes to dive into some more specific and unique features and functionality that Angaza offers. So next slide, please. So first, I'd like to introduce you to Angaza's smart device technology. The after-sales client experience can really make or break a distributor's success. If a client has a poor experience with a device they've purchased, they'll likely lose trust in that distributor. If that device was offered on a pay-as-you-go basis, the client will also likely default on their payments, leading to a really costly churn event for that distributor. One way that Angaza helps distributors improve that after-sales client experience is through smart device technology. Smart devices have embedded sensors and GSM technology to help collect and transmit data remotely after the device has been sold and installed in a client's home. So this enables us to give business insights into, one, how devices are performing in the field, two, the real-time location of any device, and three, automated alerts to notify a distributor if a device is underperforming, stolen, or even tampered with. So simply put, smart devices really help transform that after-sales client experience to lead to greater client retention for the distributor, such that they make additional purchases over time. Next slide. Another key feature of our platform is how it helps our customers sell any product that they wish, while only having to use a single software platform to do so. Many of our distribution partners sell pay-as-you-go solar home systems with embedded metering technology, but many more are also selling non-metered products like cook stoves, water pumps, and motorbikes. Distributors can offer incremental loan terms for a non-metered cook stove the same way that they would actually manage a metered product. They can even re-meter an existing device, such as a pay-as-you-go solar home system, in order to act as collateral for a non-metered device loan, like a non-electronic cook stove. Next slide. So the next feature I'd like to highlight is Angaza's offline technology. Last mile distributors often work in remote regions where cellular connectivity is intermittent or even non-existent. So in order for a remote sales agent to effectively sell devices to clients and manage after-sales service, the Angaza mobile app switches seamlessly between online and offline modes, depending on coverage. So not only can sales agents log new prospects and sales while offline, but they can also use the Angaza Activator to generate pay-as-you-go key codes while offline. And this pay-as-you-go key code generation is essential functionality for any distributor selling pay-as-you-go key code products in remote regions. Offline technology can create security concerns if administered indiscriminately. So Angaza also has customizable fraud prevention controls. So distributors can, for example, limit the number of sales and payments that a sales agent can make while offline. Next slide. Another feature I'd like to highlight is Angaza's predictive data insights. We have nearly a decade of anonymized repayment data from millions of clients and device loans. And we're able to turn this data into sophisticated algorithms to create notifications and data visualizations to help distributors make smarter decisions. And these aren't just real-time data dashboards. These are predictive insights that can help distributors make more informed decisions about client credit risk, optimizing loan terms, prioritization of at-risk accounts for targeted follow-up, just to name a few. This data is super powerful, and Angaza is putting it to work to help you successfully scale and optimize your profit margins. Next slide. Lastly, I'll tell you a bit about Angaza's network of integrations. We've integrated with over 50 mobile payment providers across the globe to give our customers the ability to operate completely cashless, which we believe is critical for scale. We've also found that as distributors increase the size and complexity of their operations, they need to create connected to additionalized specialized software that they might add over time. Thus, Angaza has invested in both robust APIs and this wide network of pre-existing integration partners to ensure that our platform can actually grow with you as your needs change. Next slide.
Much, Leslie. Oh, sorry, one more.
Yeah, this is my wrap up. We hope you get in touch with us. We'd love to learn more about you. So all you can do is just email sales@angaza.com and we'll get back to you quickly. Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Leslie. Okay, let me now welcome Thibault Lesueur, who's co-founder and CMO at PayGo Ops from Solaris Off-Grid. Thibault, over to you.
Hi there. Thank you very much, Charlotte, and thank you for GGC for inviting. So I'm, as you said, I'm one of the co-founders of Solaris Off-Grid, and I will talk to you about PayGo Ops today, which is our flagship product in terms of last mile management. Next slide, please. So just, you know, in a few words, I wanted to talk to you about Solaris Off-Grid and the history. So we are basically 6 years old now. Our main mission is to enable last mile distributors so that they can, in the most efficient and the most profitable way, enable, you know, several life-changing services such as access to water, access to energy and solar energy specifically. But, you know, it can be also related to sanitation and other services. So that's what we are dedicated to. The IT cloud service, which PayGo Ops represents, is a flagship product, but we do a bit more than this. There is quite an extensive volume of services related to data valorization or even hardware design for the manufacturers who wish to be PayGo enabled and improve their products in this direction. So that's something we provide as well. We are, because we're a cloud service, we're present in many countries, so about 30 plus at the moment. The mobile money service is maybe the only country restriction that needs, you know, specific implementation country per country. But because we're a cloud service, there is no major restriction aside from this. So we worked, you know, in Western Africa, Eastern Africa, but also Southeast Asia and Latin America. Anywhere life-changing services are needed and digital services can help doing so, we can be present, no problem. Next slide, please. So the typical ideal last mile distributors that we are working with, there is no size per se. We work with with big companies, you know, so top 10 LMDs in the Pego solar industry for quite some time now. We also work with beginners who are starting. If I was to you know, put it in simple ideas, there are very few elements that we will look into to make sure that we are in a position to support such clients. So, you know, anyone who knows a bit about Pego is always helpful, although we are always here, you know, to contribute, to educate on that matter. So I don't know if you've seen, but we have been releasing quite a large number of videos on, you know, on this aspect called Solaris Field Stories. We are always sensitive to whoever is aware that IT takes a budget. It's usually a small part of, you know, the extensive costs that being an MD requires, but of course, being knowledgeable about software is always helpful. We understand that, you know, telco is at stake, and I guess everyone is pretty much aware of this. So we also do quite some work, and we help also last mile distributors gain further awareness on that aspect. So what is truly problematic related to telco integrations versus what is, you know, an already mastered topic, and how we can help on that aspect. There is also the ability to execute. So that's something that we provide through training. So that's a side benefit of working with us. And of course, you can't run such a capitalistic and capital intensive, I'd say, a model without some resources. So we can also provide some support in not in fundraising per se, but in valuing and valorizing the data of the clients for them to raise funds more easily. Next slide, please. So what's making PegUps unique in terms of offering? So there are maybe 3 main items, although I could spend much more than 8 minutes on that. But the idea is that every distributor, every last mile distributor is quite unique, not only because of country and the context specificities, but they will all have like different business models, and it's very hard to think that, you know, just one linear process would answer everyone's issues. So we offer plenty of aspects where to edit the platform for their own use. So whether it's, you know, after sales ticketing, form editability, or all the aspect related to SMS or the client's profile. Those are like aspects that are, of course, within PegUps. We also have them customer specific workflow that will involve hundreds of apps. That can be as trivial as making sure that clients receive an SMS, may it rain in 2 days from now, in order to announce them to save on energy accordingly. That's just an illustration, but it can be more pragmatic as per connecting the platform with accounting softwares such as Xero or QuickBooks, or helping them having very specific workflows involving Unleashed or any other advanced inventory management tool. So that's one aspect. The second aspect is the affordability. So the idea is that on PegUps, we allow our clients to pay less if their devices are of smaller value, in order to enable them to reach the last mile and offer appropriate prices for their client doing so. We also break down PegUps into modules and different features, so you don't have to consume the whole platform if you only need very specific aspects of it. So accordingly, the price will go down as per what aspects of the platform you wish to use. So those are like 2 out of the 3 main, I would say, unique point of sales. The last one is the field inclusiveness. So we've been quite acknowledged by the industry for how user-friendly PegUps tools are, whether it's web app or Android app. That involves, of course, the offline capability, ability to raise tickets and handle clients' inquiries, even if you're not connected, just so that a field agent anywhere in the countryside could be in the closest touch possible with the call center, for instance. That's, of course, all about like after sales focus as well. I guess we have tons of features around that based on you know, our understanding of the field needs to make, I'd say, a pay-as-you-go business affordable for last mile clients. And one aspect as well related to field inclusiveness would be probably the fact that we have been a last mile distributor ourselves in Tanzania, distributing thousands of products. So we could leverage from this first experience to design all the decision-making tools that we remember lacking back then. And of course, you know, based on the current clients we're having, this initial MVP has evolved to become one of the world leader nowadays. Can we go to the next slide, please? So how we help clients, our last mile distributor clients to handle their day-to-day. Of course, client acquisition is key. So we have several features that allow them to onboard prospects using like offline capability of PegOps in the field. Also reach unlimited number of prospects by SMS. So some automated way of pushing prospect through the funnel of customer acquisition. Customer satisfaction, I guess, is the key when you talk about last mile distribution, and even more so on a pay-as-you-go model, given that when you work on pay-as-you-go, you often work at a loss when you start, and it's only upon regular repayment of your client that the whole transaction become profitable. So the idea of managing delivery, inventory, and all the after sales and ticketing, even in an offline status, is something key. So that's how we support them. The token generation and repayment management of the lease is a key element. Often one of the initial triggers why last mile distributor will get in touch with us. But of course, that's far from being enough if you want to be efficient on the ground. Third-party inclusions, as I just mentioned earlier. So the ability for those distributors to connect PegOps to a large range of applications to build a very tailor-made application network where PegOps plays its role from a customer journey tracking. And of course, efficiency gain that would be delivered through the ability of tailor-make such infrastructure, and how PegOps help those businesses scales their processes through all the features I just described before.
Thank you so much, Thibaut. Sorry to cut in, but in the interest of time, I'd like to move on to our final speaker.
Okay, final.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I'd like to welcome Elaine Chang, who is COO at TaroWorks. Over to you, Elaine.
Great. Thank you, Charlotte. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. As Charlotte mentioned, my name is Elaine Chang. I'm the COO for TaroWorks. And I've actually been with TaroWorks from when the tool was developed back in 2012 for the Grameen Foundation for its own programs in the field. Since then, we've spun out. So in 2015, just to focus on the software itself. So we're currently based in Washington, DC and Nairobi. Next slide, please. So since the beginning, we've envisioned a mobile app that would empower field agents with their day-to-day tasks, and also give managers sitting in the head office the visibility into activities so that they can use the data to plan and make decisions based on that data. And because of the areas in which they're working, potentially with inconsistent connectivity, offline was critical for that as well. So we're really interested in helping these field agents who are on the front lines of, to the community to better serve their customers, no matter what they might be doing. So our goal is that by providing technology that enables better field service, this helps get more appropriate products and services so that we can improve the lives of the underserved together. So who do we serve? Next slide, please. Our typical TaroWorks last mile distributor clients sort of have these four commonalities. The first is that they're in a growth stage. So, you know, we are on the Salesforce platform. It's a more of a robust platform. And so we find that, organizations who already have, their business models in place are best suited to use our tool. So they're ready to scale. I think using pen and paper is fine when you're trying to figure out what makes you unique, who you want to serve. But at a certain point, once you figure out what works, and you want to kind of replicate that in another country or for other products, I think that's when, pen and paper doesn't cut it anymore, or you want to kind of move to a system that can work with those processes. There's also a need for coordination. So the organizations we work with have field agents who are on those front lines. They're often using the tools where the data goes into a database and they never see it again. But our clients really want to push that information from the database out to the field agents so that they can have the right guidance while they're offline to do their day-to-day work. Offline, I think that's been a common theme here. The problem is with wanting field agents to access information is that sometimes agents are in these remote areas and robust CRM tools like Salesforce don't work there. So we sort of act as Salesforce offline. We push that information out, and also help organizations, collect information offline and sync it back in. So it's really kind of that two-way CRM data flow. And then lastly, these are on the office side, managers need that real-time visibility in order to make data-driven decisions and to plan accordingly. So these are what the typical clients struggle with. So what do they use TeraWorks for? Next slide, please. So we just saw kind of what categorizes some clients. This is what they're actually using it for. Could be they're doing, field agents are doing assessments. Maybe they're doing like a credit score, or is this a good place to build a biodigester? So offline, they can get guidance as to what their next step should be. They're disseminating information into offline areas. We also have an inventory management app that is helping organizations track stock levels in offline warehouses. There's after sales maintenance and support, coordination of multiple partners if you're partnering with other organizations, tracking progress over time. So this is your impact tracking or tracking sort of anything, could be sales, managing orders and sales. And then we also have the ability to pull in mobile money collections from an aggregator. So field agents can see those results or histories of collections while they're offline as well. Next slide. So what makes us unique? I think one thing that sets us apart is that we leverage the power of the Salesforce platform. So Salesforce is the world's leading cloud computing platform. Its bread and butter is sort of the whole sales cycle, which a lot of our LMD clients leverage. So you would have your own instance of Salesforce, and you're kind of using their most powerful CRM licenses. And as part of Salesforce, they have an app exchange. So the idea of like interoperability of different apps is really important here. So like TeraWorks, we are an app on the app exchange. So we kind of sit on top of Salesforce and help you get information in and out offline. But other tools in the app exchange that we've worked with are AMP Impact for program management and impact tracking. There's also Mowgli SMS that does SMS and WhatsApp messaging management directly in Salesforce. It all kind of works together and you can build what you need. And then kind of a special shout out here is that Salesforce does have a Power of Us program to help nonprofits with donations of licenses, and TeraWorks clients get additional ones. So I think, yeah, really great options to leverage a really powerful platform. Next slide, please. Additionally, we allow for autonomy and flexibility in your use. So this is kind of your own Salesforce instance. You own that data. We are native to Salesforce, and so it's not like a separate website you have to log into. It's all in kind of one place. And you can configure your own processes. So like I mentioned, with the use cases before, like you can use the tool for any or all of those, or come up with your own. We recognize that with the breadth of organizations we work with across industry, across countries, across products, you have your own processes, and so that it's very configurable. And yeah, we work with other different segments as well. So we've worked with solar organizations, water systems, sanitation, clean energy, healthcare operations, especially now making sure clinics have the right products. Next slide. I'm actually going to skip this one. This is just a profile. Oh, am I up?
Yeah, feel free to just, if you want to just close with this one, that'd be great.
Actually, if I go to the next slide, this is just how we're helping with COVID-19. We've featured a deep dive series on highlighting a few features, and we also just started a COVID-19 pause program. So I think that's it for me.
That's great. Thanks, Elaine, and sorry for cutting in. Okay, brilliant. Next slide, please, Amy. Great. Okay, so thanks to all four of our speakers. I think that that's provided some really nice food for thought, and I know that I personally will definitely be going away and kind of processing and digesting. But now it's over to the Q&A. So we've had some really brilliant questions come through. Feel free to continue to drop them into the box. And I just wanted to kind of first of all, give you a bit of an overview of how we're going to approach this. So we will prioritise questions that all the speakers on the call today can answer, but if any of you have questions for specific speakers that we don't necessarily get to today, then we will share them with them after the call and they'll be able to follow up with you. And specifically to our speakers, given that we don't have a lot of time, I'll call on each of you in turn and ask that you kind of try to keep your answers quite succinct to sort of 30 seconds or so. Okay, so first question is from Eric Uduk, who is from GDC member IT Africa. And the question is, we've had a few questions about mobile money payments. Can the solution providers talk about how their solutions are integrated with mobile money platforms and the issue of transaction costs when payments are done across different platforms? And I think that I'll run through the original running order. So Gerard, would you like to take this one first?
Sure, thank you, Charlotte. Thanks for the question. So we have direct mobile money integrations in a number of countries, as I mentioned. And in terms of the transaction costs, they obviously vary. So what we do is we offer full transparency to our LNB clients so they can see what the different costs are incurred, so that if somebody makes a payment, there are going to be some transaction costs incurred, but we can help them optimize those across different mobile money providers and across different offers.
Brilliant.
That helps.
Yeah, that was excellent. Leslie?
Oh, sure. We're all answering the same question. Yeah, so basically the transaction cost that the consumer bears remains in place because that's a fee that the mobile money platform charges. Often we can offer flexibility to the distributor to decide whether the consumer continues to bear that transaction cost or whether the distributor absorbs it as well. But one of the benefits of integrating directly with mobile payment platforms is we're able to get rid of the middleman. So we don't charge you any additional transaction fees that many, for example, aggregators charge.
Thank you. Thibault?
Yes, so on our side, I guess, it's quite a point of parity. So same, we keep it very transparent. We integrate with, whenever we can, with more than one mobile money service per country where we operate. So then, it gives several options. Yeah, that's it. And yeah, when we can, we avoid edges to also cut the minimum. Pretty standard.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to add anything, Elaine?
Yes, so we do have an integration with an aggregator called Bionic, and so doesn't matter sort of what telecom they're using, it all comes into that system and then into Salesforce, and so it's there, yeah, the telecom charges.
Great, thanks so much. Thanks for keeping everything really concise as well. Okay, next question, which has come through from a couple of people on the call. So would any of these platforms be well suited to sell fast moving consumer goods, i.e. very low value products like consumable food or sanitary products? Okay, I'll mix things up a bit. So Thibaut, would you like to go first?
Sure, so that's actually something we've been inquired earlier this year. So we were already enabling cash sale. Now what we're trying to do is more like opening cash account, whereby you would have unlimited number of transactions you could do of any value per last mile client of the last mile distributor. So this way we can keep it very cheap for the last mile distributor to handle such cash activity, alongside pay-as-you-go ones.
Elaine?
Yes, I would actually say we're sort of coming into this from the other side. We don't currently have any pay-as-you-go, and so like we started with working with organizations that are selling kind of small cash products. We have some sanitary product customers as well. So yeah, very suited for that, especially with the Salesforce platform.
Thank you. Leslie?
Yeah, short answer is you can use the platform to sell FMCGs, but I would say typically distributors that are doing that are using only pieces of the platform. So it's pretty rare that a distributor is tracking individual consumer data for every small sachet of shampoo that might be sold. But for example, they could use the inventory tracking mechanism to track sort of bulk shipments of FMCGs in aggregate to allocate those across their distributor network. So that's kind of the more common way we see FMCGs play out. And definitely we have a lot of distributors that don't do pay-as-you-go, just do cash upfront sales. And so FMCGs are obviously typically not sold on pay-as-you-go.
Thanks, Leslie. Gerard, anything to add?
Yeah, so simple answer is yes. And we'd offer the flexibility for last mile distributors to do both again, so pay-as-you-go and cash sales. And we have one particular social enterprise who's focused on reaching customers who may be closer to the bottom of the pyramid and selling stuff like sanitary products and so on that are FMCGs, and we've kind of come up with a tailored solution for them to make it very easy and low cost. And they also sell pay-as-you-go products, so you can do it off the same platform to offer both solutions quite easily.
Brilliant, thank you all. Okay, right, another question for you. So how do you help clients to get to grips with your app and dashboard and to train their sales agents who might be less tech savvy, and what kind of ongoing support do you provide? So I think we've had a really nice insight to these kinds of digital platforms, but this is about kind of getting to grips with them in daily life. So Leslie, would you like to tackle that one first?
Yeah, to make sure I understand the question, it's how do we help distributors train their sales agents to use the technology?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I think part of it is making sure the software is designed to be very intuitive. Most often, sales agents that are using the mobile app, for example, they're first-time smartphone users, so nothing is intuitive right off the bat. But we've really invested a lot in just streamline UI, UX to make sure it is intuitive. And then we provide just a robust set of training materials for distributors to not only train their sales agents, but also retrain their sales agents. And a number of alerts in the platform help them actually track sales agent performance so they can decide, when and how they should retrain over time as well.
Lovely, thanks. Gerard?
So for us, again, the mobile app is designed to be extremely easy to use, and that's the feedback we've received from our clients. So it's quite easy to quickly onboard the agents. And we try to apply the train-the-trainer model. So we'll work very closely with L&D at the beginning to ensure that their key maybe managers or higher up agents are really well able to do all the functionality they need to do, and they will then go up throughout the whole organization. And then we keep an open channel with them ongoing. So if they have any questions, they can quickly ask questions from us. So we constantly keep in touch because it's feedback and for us. So close relationship.
Thank you. Elaine?
Yes, we provide also train the trainer trainings mostly. So it's an intensive training on how to use the platform. We've just found that the processes are so unique to each organization that it's not worth any sort of time and money for us to just train on how to use an Android device. So we train the trainers and they're happy to kind of translate that through. We also have kind of a feature to push out training materials through the mobile app. And so it could be training the field agents or tools that the agents show to kind of an end user as well.
Lovely. Lastly, Thibault?
Yes, so also train the trainer approach, because it's a cloud service, then part of this training is of course given online. Although we also do upon request field trips directly to the client to help provide this knowledge across the teams. And then specifically on the matter of dashboards, we actually work with the last mile distributors directly to design dashboards that matter to them through this interoperability we have between PegUps and BI tools. So so it's really as per what they request in the first place as well.
Lovely, thanks all. Okay, I think we've got time for one final question. So this was asked by Melissa Mwangi, and it was actually directed to Angaza, but I think it's really relevant for kind of all the speakers on the call today. So the question is, do you work with manufacturers to integrate the GSM feature? Are all products integrated by you from different manufacturers GSM enabled? Given that the question was originally directed at Angaza, Leslie, would you like to tackle that one first?
Sure, happy to. Yes, we do work with manufacturers to integrate the GSM feature. There is actually a device design process and manufacturing process that they need to go through to integrate that kind of functionality. Essentially, they're embedding a SIM card and a GSM module into their device. So not all products integrated with Angaza are GSM enabled. Get in touch with us after and I'm happy to give you the list. And also the difference between devices are some devices have different sensors versus others. So different types of data are able to be collected from different types of products, again, depending on how they were manufactured. So happy to give you more information about that offline.
Brilliant, thank you. Thibault?
Yes, so we also work with several manufacturers on this. It is, of course, like a very product related item because it really matters of what kind of data the usage data is tracked by the product. So happy to discuss that as well offline with whoever is interested according to what kind of service they are looking into. And actually beyond that, we are also about to release the ability to have a unit cell, which is the usage itself instead of the time, access to the time. So you can sell per kilometer, per liter you release and so on. So we truly believe that that's an element that will become more and more important in the future.
Great. Elaine, over to you.
We don't have a specific requirement or we have not seen this. We do have kind of a list of requirements for the devices that will work with us. And that's just, you can find that on our website, but we don't have anything specifically around this.
Thank you. Lastly, Gerard.
Yes, it's similar that we first answer is that we'd work very closely with the manufacturer to make sure that we're integrated with all their systems and that then you can get that rich data. Of course, for GSM capability, as Thibault mentioned, that is quite specific for certain products. So it depends on what product you're talking about. But yeah, we work closely with both the manufacturer and the LMB to make sure they get the solution they need.
That's great, thank you. Okay, I think we've got time for one final question, just really quickly. So this one's from Salman Zahir at the World Bank. for any of the platform or mobile money payment issues in the field, how are they solved and what is the average response time? Elaine, would you like to tackle that one?
Yeah, currently, if there's mobile money, that piece, since we do integrate with the Bionic platform, they would solve that if it's specific to mobile money. If it has to do with integration, we can support that too. So there's kind of two options.
Thanks. Gerard?
Yeah, so I guess it's fairly open in the question. So I guess it depends what the problem is. But like if we've direct integrations with the mobile money provider, so if we'll say there's a downtime issue, they will inform us and we'll inform the LMD and make sure that they're informed ahead of time. Our own systems are very robust. They should not go down. We'll inform users if there's maintenance to be had and so on. But in terms of mobile money, it'll be a matter of informing the LMDs as much as we can in advance, so that if there's downtime, they can work around that.
Thank you. Leslie?
Yeah, I think there's two components to this. Often when a distributor notices an error, they can contact us in multiple ways. They can either contact us just through the software to our support team, or they can contact every customer has a dedicated customer success manager. Once that contact is made, or if we notice something is going weird in our automated monitoring, we are able to work with that mobile money platform to understand exactly what's going on and what's breaking down. So the response time honestly depends on what is going wrong and what mobile platform we're talking about. But typically the Ongaza response time to you is very quick. We have 24-hour support for that.
Great. Lastly, Thibault.
Yes, so on this, like what Gerard said, like it really depends of the criticality of the issue, right? So we have SLAs that are covering that. We're very responsive. The very first element of diagnosis is to see if it comes from the telco itself, from the aggregator, if it's an aggregator to be used, or if the issue comes from our side. Usually very responsive, even during weekends, to solve that very quickly. But again, it's really a case by case, depending on what kind of problem.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, that's brilliant. That wraps up the Q&A. So if you'd like to go to the next slide, please, Amy. Great, so I appreciate we're to time, so I'll just provide a little bit of info on what happens next. So first of all, we'll be sharing a summary document and recording, as well as the contact details of our speakers so that you can get in touch with them directly after the call. And I also really want to highlight that the next GDC workshop that we have coming up is on the 29th of May, which is a Friday, and that's exploring lessons learned around online sales. So please do sign up for that if you're interested. And today's conversation is really just one of the ways that we're trying hard to support our members at this time. So we're also collating lots of resources and funding opportunities on our website and helping to amplify and secure co-funding for some of our members' fundraising campaigns, and working in an ongoing way with others to provide a range of different types of assistance. So please take a look at the website and keep an eye out for our kind of regular newsletters for up-to-date information. Next slide, final slide, Amy. Thank you. So yeah, that wraps up the call for today. Thank you all so much. We'd really love to hear your feedback on today's session. So in a moment, you will see a quick poll pop up on the screen, and it should probably take you about 10-15 seconds to complete, but we'd really appreciate you helping us with that, because it will provide a snapshot for us on kind of how we've done today and how we can do better in future. So for now, thank you so much again for joining us. We really hope to see lots of you soon, and please do register for our online sales workshop in a couple of weeks.